Hey guys, Josh here from Sportitude Running, here today to talk about the new Brooks Launch 9. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Brooks Launch 9 is a lightweight neutral running shoe from the Brooks running family. We've got full-length Bio Mogo DNA midsole. It's a nice soft feel underneath the body, but also has that slightly responsive or snappy feel through the forefoot, which your Brooks runners would appreciate. Considerable change with the upper of this shoe, a slight alteration with this midsole, and in doing so had to change the outsole configuration. So in today's review, we'll go through all of those three engineering concepts, break it down, compare it to Launch 8, and give you all the information that you need at home to, who knows, potentially make this one of your next running shoes. So let's get stuck in. Brooks Launch 9 is a neutral running shoe. So what that means is basically on the medial side, the density of midsole is the same as it is the lateral side. And for what a neutral foot type looks like, jump on this video in the link just here and we'll take you through to description of a neutral foot type. Brooks Launch 9 is a lightweight running shoe. There is an element of protection underneath the body, but it does still technically sit in an energized category, which Brooks have a few other running shoes, more for your tempo and interval runnings. You can do some progressive runs in this shoe. However, there'll be a small cohort of runners out there that would probably enjoy a shoe like this for some mileage running. Now, of course, you've got to be able to tolerate less support, a little bit less cushioning for a shoe like this to sit on your foot for your longer weekend runs or obviously your mileage running out there. Let's talk all things upper with the Launch 9 and compare it to what we had last season with the Launch 8. So the first noticeable change is the new tongue. So Brooks have reduced the construction with their tongue. They've made it lighter and thinner. So what does that mean? You're going to get a little bit more ventilation through the top of your arch. However, they haven't sacrificed that fit and feel and function. So the tongue being a little bit thinner will just conform over the top of your arch a little bit nicer. So you get a bit more of a customized fit in comparison to last year where, again, it was a little bit thicker. Not saying there was anything wrong with that at all because 90% of the shoes still have tongues that are slightly, well, it's very similar, pardon me, to the Launch 8, a little bit more padding on offer, but just making the shoe a wee bit lighter, they've had to just adjust a couple of those components in the upper. Engineered mesh through the forefoot and a little bit of detail with the side panels and the overlays, which just provides a nice fit and construction across the shoe itself. And as you come back to the heel counter, probably my favorite feature of this shoe, it still has an internal heel counter, just like last year with the Launch 8. So there's no change with regards to the amount of structure on offer around the back of your heel. However, the fit and feel is a little bit different due to a slight increase in regards to the foam they have placed on the inside of this heel collar. Still the Achilles flares on offer, so you won't get that real sort of pinched feel on the back of your heel. The Achilles flare just provides enough structure and comfort, but also takes the pressure off the base of that Achilles where it inserts into your calcaneus. Same thing as last season with the Launch 8. However, as I touched on, just a little bit more foam around the internal heel collar. So let's jump from the upper and talk all things outsole now. So what we have on offer is full ground contact. So rubber has been placed from the back of the shoe right through to the forefoot. There's no interruption with any sort of truss system through the mid part of this shoe. It's been the case now for a number of years with the Launch franchise. They've kept it really consistent with the amount of rubber which has been placed underneath the shoe itself. It is a little bit hard to see with the black shoe in my hand through here. However, with some close-ups, we'll show you the configuration of those flex screws. In comparison to the Launch 8, what we have on offer through the forefoot is a really similar, almost like a diagonal flex screw from the lateral to that medial side. On the medial side though, you'll see the rubber configuration is encapsulated. So what that is going to do is it's going to provide a little bit of extra structure and integrity for the shoe itself to still flex in the right areas, but provide enough support for those metatarsals as you exit out of your gait cycle. Really important feature of any outsole is to complement what a brand is doing with its midsole. And in terms of the Launch 9, they've really got it on point with that forefoot construction. Coming down through the midsection of this shoe here, as we touched on before, there is no interruptions with plastic trussing systems. The width of the rubber through that midfoot is marginally broader than last year. So what that means is you're going to get a little bit more purchase with the ground as you're transitioning through mid starts, especially for your heel strikers, and for your mid-foot runners, again, having more purchase with the ground as you land on contact. Coming back to the heel now as well, The biggest change has been the sort of bevel construction. Now, this is more, or going to come into play more for your heel strikers out there, for that runner that comes down heel first, like so. Having a slight bevel at the back of this shoe will just provide a little bit more cradled support and also complement that amount of cushioning you're going to receive from that Mogo DNA midsole. In comparison to last year, we had a slight bevel, but it wasn't really as noticeable at the back of that shoe as it is in the Launch 9 today. Okay, let's dive into the midsole, where essentially most of the magic happens with all running shoes. Now, less is more. I've touched on that expression a few times, but with your Launch running shoe, Brooks really want to focus on comfort, fit, feel and function. However, by not throwing in too many bells and whistles into this midsole. So it's very sort of off trend with regards to what is happening in the market, especially in this lightweight category. Nylon plates, carbon rods, whatever it be, a lot of brands are focusing on putting some form of extra assistance through the midsole to generate that really snappy, propulsive feel on your ride experience. However, the Launch 9 is nothing short of honest, reliable and consistent. So with the midsole change, what Brooks have done is they've increased the stack height by 2 mil. So in the Launch 9, we have 24 heel, 14 forefoot for that 10 mil offset. In last year's Launch 8, we had 22 heel, 12 forefoot, again with a 10 mil offset. So by increasing it by 2 millimeters, you could argue and say, well, yeah, naturally that's going to be a slightly softer ride. However, the feedback we've had from a couple of our staff members that have been testing this shoe, myself included, it is a slightly softer ride underneath the foot. So as I said, you could argue that that's the extra stack height. However, I reckon Brooks have put a little bit more effort into the Mogo DNA midsole, providing a slightly softer compound rubber on that increased stack height. So what that is going to do, as we touched on, it's going to provide a little bit more cushioning on your landing. So if you're a heel striker, expect a little bit more protection in Launch 9 than Launch 8. Even if you're a midfoot striker, you will experience a little bit more protection as well. But the biggest change, or the biggest alteration with the configuration of this shoe, or the engineering configuration, is the outsole through the forefoot, which we touched on a minute ago. A little bit more effort has been put into providing some structure and integrity on that outsole on the medial side. And we feel, or I feel, the reason that Brooks have done that is to complement the slightly softer ride you're going to get in the Launch 9. Now we're talking slightly softer here. So when the shoe itself was in its last chapter, so that last 15 to 20% of its life, when the shoe or the midsole does compress, you're going to get a little bit more support through that forefoot configuration, which is really important for obviously not only support, but that experience through the whole entire life of this shoe. And as we touched on in the intro, being a neutral shoe, there's nothing on offer on that medial side. If you're looking for a very similar experience to the Launch 9, but you want an element of medial protection, the Launch 9 GTS is coming out soon, and we'll obviously do a full review on that shoe. Talking about a couple of statistics with regards to the Launch 9. Big weight reduction. In the men's, we've got a 232 grams size 9. In the ladies, we'll talk 201 grams for a size 7. So to give you some context here, the men's Launch 8 last year was 244. So a 12 gram change is a considerable amount for a very similar shoe. And while we're talking all statistics, let's just give you the information you need with regards to widths. So in reference to the Launch 9, it is only available in standard widths. So the men's is going to come in a D and the ladies is going to come through in a B. If you're a runner that likes what this shoe offers, but you're seeking a slightly broader fit, there will be a 2E on offer for the Launch GTS and a D offer for the Launch GTS ladies as well. Now, just touching on the fact that that will have the guide rails in the medial side for a little bit of extra arch support. However, you'll get a slightly broader and more voluminous fit throughout the entire shoe. If you're searching for a lightweight, honest, reliable midsole, then the Launch 9 is going to be one that you should definitely consider. Fantastic for your interval runs, some progressive runs, and also great for some mileage running if you're a runner that can tolerate a lighter system underneath the body. So guys, that is my take on the Brooks Launch 9 from the Brooks Running family. If you've got any questions about this shoe or where it has come from, the Launch 8, drop it in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the red button, stay notified, and we'll keep pumping out these shoe reviews for you, the running community out there. Until next time, be safe, be kind to one another, happy running, and we'll see you out on the road. Take care.